Welcome to Chasing Gold, the 2025 Black Canyon edition. I'm Schuyler Hall, bringing you along to meet some of the top athletes who are going to be taking on the Black Canyon course February 8th, one of which is no stranger to this race, just outside the podium last year. Glad to be joined by Jenna Bensko. Jenna, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great today. Thanks for asking.
Yep, that's what we're here for. We got a lot of questions for you, but before we get into your race last year and sort of what you're expecting to take on this year, got to ask you the opening question we're asking of all of our guests here on Chasing Gold. I need you to put on your imagination cap. It's contract season, and you find yourself in the elevator with the head of your dream brand. It can be running related or not running related. What is your 30-second elevator pitch on why they should bet on you in 2025 and beyond?
Oh man, what a good question. So, off the top of my head, first one I think of is Terex, without a doubt. The ASU is my go-to shoe, and I'll be wearing it at Black Canyons this year. They also have great running pants that I love. I used to be a tights person, and now I'm fully converted to running pants. But yeah, I just love their team dynamic. And as someone who grew up playing team sports, that really vibes with me. But if it wasn't a shoe brand, I would say Daisy, the dairy brand, because I eat cottage cheese every day to fuel my training. And I would get a lot of bang for buck out of that sponsorship. So that I cheated. I had two answers, but those are my final two answers.
All right, I have to ask. We got to explore this cottage cheese situation because fueling races is a hot topic across the running space right now. But we don't get to talk as much around what folks are eating the other 20 some odd hours of the day. So where is this love for cottage cheese coming from? Is this like a pre-race meal or is this just like an everyday meal? Enlighten us.
Yeah, if I wish it could be a pre-race meal, that would not go very well. It's more of an everyday life kind of meal. I eat about a tub of cottage cheese every single day. And I started this actually a month before Black Canyon last year. I used to not eat a lot of dairy, and I discovered cottage cheese for the first time. And now I'm fully hooked. And I've had a lot of success since jumping on the cottage cheese train. So yeah, I think it's linked.
Listen, I have so many follow-up questions on cottage cheese alone that we won't fully explore, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask, are we eating it straight out of the tub? Are we mixing with some like berries? Like walk me through this like morning ritual of cottage cheese. Like how can we try to fuel ourselves to have great races at Black Canyon and Gorge and other places that you excel at?
Yeah. So it's always post-run. I just crave something that's, kind of salty and cold. So usually it's straight out of the tub. I'll throw some like berries and granola in there and then maybe a little honey. And just, yeah, spoon it out of the tub. It's great.
Sweet. Hey, listen, we'll take all the tips we can get, especially us older, washed-up athletes who just host Chasing Gold instead of being featured on it. But there's a reason you're here, and there's a reason you're coming back to Black Canyon. We have to talk about last year's race. You finished in fourth place, 9 hours and 11 minutes on course. That would be just outside of the golden ticket this year because there are three of them. So talk to us a little bit about last year's race, how it went for you, sort of with the benefit of hindsight, if there's anything you might have changed in terms of either prep or tactics on the day. And what about that has you excited for the 2025 edition to come back?
Yeah. So last year was just such a good year for me. It actually fell on my birthday. The day of was my birthday. So I think, having that birthday energy really played to my advantage. I was just stoked to be out there. And it was by far the most competitive field I had ever raced in. And I think knowing that no one really knew who I was going into that race and not feeling the same external pressure um, also really played to my advantage. I felt confident, but I didn't feel like I was putting a crazy amount of pressure on myself. And so I was kind of just able to, snake my way up from, I think towards the end of the top 10 up to fourth over the course of the race. And I think one of my advantages is I'm a pretty resilient runner. My fatigue resistance is pretty good. So, I just tried to play it safe most of the day, especially with the mud last year and the craziness. I kind of love chaos. So I just kind of like vibed in the backpack of the top 10, and kind of just picked people off. But I will say, going forward into this year, 2025, something that I've really tried to work on is my speed. It's something that I've always been a little bit insecure about as someone who got into running much later in life, did not run track or cross country growing up at all. So never really had that same speed stimulus as I feel like a lot of my competitors do. So yeah, really this past fall, I worked a lot on speed, like 5K fitness, ran my first cross country race, my first road 5K. So feeling a lot more fit and fast this year. And since this is such a fast course, that was kind of my goal coming back around this time around.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You got to work on weaknesses at some point, even if you're not actually sure how much of a weakness they might be. I was going to ask, the last time we've really seen a result from you in the ultra scene was Gorge last year. You raced the 50K and finished just a tad under 5 hours. So since Gorge last year, what does training look like? Was it just specifically a speed block and now you're doing more high mileage? Have you been sort of like doing short races that we just haven't seen, in an ultra sign up type world? I know that you're working with the swap team. So, I'm not surprised that we're doing a speed block. That seems to be something we're seeing in vlogs right now. What's been happening since Gorge?
Yeah, so I actually had a pretty bizarre year last year where 1 week after Black Canyon, I fell skiing and shattered my wrist. And it took maybe a month and a half to get back to running after because I needed surgery after it had partially healed. So that was kind of a bummer coming off of Black Canyon last year. I took a lot of time off, and Gorge was my first race. I think I had been training for maybe 3.5 weeks at that point, just got cleared to run, and it was on my calendar. So Gorge was definitely one of those races lining up where you're like, I do not feel fit in any way, shape, or form. I am a little scared to be here, but I really just wanted to race back into fitness. I had already like booked the plane and the Airbnb, and I had friends going. So uh, yeah, and then after Gorge, you're right, I signed up for Run Rabbit Run in 2024, um, lined up there and actually did not end up finishing. That was kind of my big goal race for the rest of 2024, but struggled a lot with, uh, nausea and just GI stuff. It was my first go at a 100 miler, and, I don't think I was prepared for the GI portion of a 100 miler, so did not make it to the finish line. But since Run Rabbit really turned around, and like you said, I work with Swap, David in particular, and was like, "Hey, I really wanna focus on speed for this coming fall. I just, um, have this weird desire." I used to run with the team in Fort Collins that was doing cross country races. They asked me to join. So that kind of inspired me to work on this 5K fitness. So yeah, I did a road 5K in Louisville, Colorado, 5K state championships, I think, in Boulder, and then for cross country. And then I did a local half marathon in October as well. So definitely nothing that you might see on Ultra sign up for the end of 2024.
I mean, the name of the game for you is just sneaking in under the radar, right? You were under the radar Black Canyon last year. Now you're doing a bunch of races that are off the trails, and so you're sort of an unknown entity coming into this 2025 edition as well. I want to circle back to the experience at Run Rabbit. Obviously, a burly 100 miler is a little bit different than a speedy 100K like Black Canyon is, but I'm interested in hearing what lessons you might have learned on that nutrition and fueling side that you are planning to implement here at Black Canyon, or are they so different that you had to do some stuff in training to maybe get a more refined strategy coming into this race?
Yeah, I would say I got really excited about the high carb fueling train that everyone was jumping on in the middle/end of the summer, and I also tried to jump on that train without properly training for it. So yeah, I tried to hit like 110 grams per hour without doing that in training. And Run Rabbit starts at 1 p.m. And it was hot that day. And I think I just kind of toasted my stomach really early on and didn't have a backup plan, which is something that I will have at Black Canyon, something that's, say, like switching to straight liquid fueling. I did not really have a concrete plan in place. So when shit hit the fan at Run Rabbit, I just stopped eating. And as we all know, that does not go well.
Generally speaking, no. But resilience is a learned skill. So super excited to see you implement some of that here at Black Canyon. You alluded to liquid calories versus like gels or whole foods. And again, recognizing that David is your coach, have you already had a conversation around sort of like your fueling plan for this? Are you going to stick with just liquid calories? You obviously last year were a part of a very cold start of a race and saw it heat up throughout the day. So where's your mindset at with your plan for this Black Canyon edition?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do what I've been doing for most of my longer training runs has been a mix of liquid fueling and gels like Precision and SIS Beta Fuel. Those more liquid consistency gels tend to work best for me. And as long as I'm drinking enough water along with those, it should work okay. So that's my current plan, is just a mix of both for Black Canyon.
Absolutely. Yeah, the joys of being an unsponsored athlete. Just take all the things that you can and figure
Oh
out
yeah.
what works for you, right? So let's look at this block as a whole. Has there been a moment leading into this race where you had that aha moment of like, yes, I am ready. Yes, I am fit. Whether that was a particular, tune-up race, some of the cross-country stuff, was it a workout, or are you just looking at your Strava and thinking like, oh, I'm ready? Like, where is your confidence for 2025 Black Canyon coming from?
Yeah. I would say a lot of it is coming from not really one workout or run in particular, but just this constant focus on speed. I've seen over the course of the past few months, my confidence and my ability to hold faster paces for my workouts has just, yeah, gotten so much better. And, I live in Boulder and training with a lot of people out here. I feel way more confident training with people on runs than I used to in the past. It's like instead of being scared that I'm going to get dropped on a training run, I feel very confident and almost hopeful that I could be the one that could drop someone else. So that's definitely where I'm drawing a lot of my confidence from. And definitely like that 5K cross country race and the 5K um, road race really, I'm like, if I am that much faster this year compared to what I was last year, and I have that same, fatigue resistance that I did last year, then I feel like I'm in a very good place for this race.
Yeah, and listen, Black Canyon has come down to a kick before for certain places, so you can take comfort in having that 5K fitness and that speed. That if you're approaching that last cattle gate, that you might be able to beat somebody in that sprint to it. Speak on this community in Boulder a little bit more. We have a lot of professional runners that are up in that space. You have an entire Boulder Boys podcast based on the notion that Boulder is a great place to train. But who have you been running with? Is it a specific group? Are you just kind of tagging on with whoever's around? Just speak on that community as a whole.
Yeah, I would say I tend to be a little bit of a lone wolf when I'm like deep in training for things. I just find that I am much better at staying in tune to my effort levels when I train alone. But I train with Riley Brady, who will also be on the starting line this year. Um, and then I have a couple of friends that are not particularly racing at the elite level, but just like to, chat with them. There's a good crew of people that there are, a lot of professional runners in Boulder, but then there's a good crew of people that are also balancing, full-time jobs. And it's really helpful to train with those people since, we end up running in the wee hours of the morning and, share your grievances about trying to train at a high level while also, juggling this other full-time job. So that's nice to have.
What's that like for you? We know that there are folks who can just run and that's their only thing, but what does that life balance look like for you? And whether that's on the training side, just having that like mental space to focus on you. What does your day-to-day balance look like?
Yeah, I would say I'm lucky in that I have a full-time job that, uh, prioritizes the wellness to a certain degree, which is great. But yeah, it's a lot of, wake up. I do a little bit of coaching outside of my full-time job as well. So it's, checking in with athletes, getting out for your run, spending 8, 9 hours doing your full-time job and then trying to do all these extra little things at the end of the day, like sauna, heat training, lifting, core. But I think it's nice. I think because I have this big chunk of time that I can't really think about running, it takes the pressure off of me and makes me really dial into running when I do have that time to dedicate to it. So I really try to make the minutes and hours count that I can spend on running.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And I think that will resonate with a lot of the folks at home because, 98% of the community is working some other full-time job or doing some heavy lifting at home. So always excited to find someone who speaks to us and what we're going through as well. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot of folks supporting you down the trail come February 8th. But we have the fast, quick hitting questions to end this, calling it the quick mix. Jenna, are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. You already answered it, but I'm gonna let you foot stomp it. What is going to be your shoe of choice for Black Canyon?
The ASU.
Awesome. Question number 2, because we need more hype in trail running. What is going to be, or what would be your walkout song to the start line?
Oh God, Defying Gravity.
Interesting. All right. I like it. I like it. Question number 3. Let's assume you have an unlimited budget to go on a month-long training camp anywhere you want. Where are you headed and why?
Oh goodness. I would probably go to Chamonix. I went there last year and did part of the TMB, and not the full thing. So I'd love to go back there and do more. And the community there is great. And I've been learning French. So I'm ready.
All right. Love it. Question number 4. Let's presume that we're turning Black Canyon into a 2-person relay. So think like 3-legged race style. Which of your competitors are you going to tie yourself to?
Oh man. I would say Riley Brady.
Strong choice. And then lastly, as we mentioned, the live stream is going to be hosted here on the Mountain Outpost channel. And so, hey, if you're watching at home, hit that subscribe button so that you get notified when we go live on February 8th. But what emoji would you like your supporters to just spam the live chat with to show you love while you're racing down the course?
The racehorse emoji.
Yeah. Speak on that. Why the racehorse?
Because I am still a dark horse in the ultra running scene, which I love. I love the element of surprise and being underestimated. But my crew every year does some sort of like, or every race does some sort of like horse theme to be on brand with this dark horse vibe. So that's why.
Legit. All right. So folks at home, you know what to do. Spam the live chat on February 8th with the racehorse emoji and commentating crew. We're going to be on the lookout for your crew. We're going to have to get eyes on what the horse theme is as you're moving your way down course. But Jenna, any last things that you want to share or say to the audience at home?
Man, yeah, just trail running is the best sport and, get out there and yeah, enjoy your time on the trails or roads or wherever you're running and yeah, get after it.
Absolutely. So Jenna Bensko, thanks for joining us here on Chasing Gold. Thank you all at home for viewing. I've been Schuyler Hall. Until next time, see you guys later.